Hi, everybody. Claudia Glassman here with Mighty Oak Parenting. Today, I wanted to explore a little bit about technology. It's everywhere, and I love it and I use it. That's part of why you guys are seeing this video or reading my blog posts. But a lot of research has been done recently and over the past several years in regards to technology and our children, and specifically in terms of brain development and how it can impact mental health and increase anxiety and attention issues and depression and all of these other things. And so I just wanted to address this. It's a loaded topic, but just wanted to address this and kind of talk a little bit about what we can do. So I know technology is everywhere. Like I said, have it in my house. I use it for work. But I also am very aware that children learn best and are at their healthiest when they interact with the world, when they use all of their senses, when they play, when they explore, when they use their imaginations, when they move. And technology has shifted this a little bit. I drive down the street and I don't see kids outside playing like I used to when I was a kid. We were outside all day. And children interact online more than they do, in person. And so the world is shifting, and I'm well aware that this shift is happening. I think the challenge is that our bodies, our brains, our physiology isn't adjusting as quickly as the technology in our world is. And so I think we can have technology in our world. Our children, of course, are going to interact with it at some point. But I think we can limit it, shield them from it a little bit, limit it, and give them space to still utilize these other ways of learning and of being so that they're more balanced. And in this balance, happier and healthier individuals. So there's a couple things you can do. For the first thing is really to monitor your own technology use. And, so many of us just pick up a phone when we're sitting somewhere and check Facebook or read a blog post or whatever we're doing, right? But we just browse in idle time. To really be aware of what we do and how we use technology. Is our phone always in our hands? Are we always on the phone, right? All of this is being modeled for our children. So we really want to be aware of our own usage. Second of all, use screen time sparingly. So instead of using it as a cure for boredom, let your kids be bored. They'll find something to do. They'll find creative ways to entertain themselves. They'll draw, color, play a game, harass their sibling, right? Go outside. There's all kinds of things we can do when we're bored, or maybe just be bored, right? Just lay in your bed and stare at the wall. It's okay. It's okay to have idle time. And in such a fast-paced world where we have so much access to information, forget that we can just be idle and that that's okay. I've been out and about where I've seen a young child in a stroller holding a cell phone, like watching a video or playing a game or whatever they're doing. And they're out in the world, right? And all I can think is, wow, they're missing so many things. They're missing things they could see, they could explore, they could ask questions about, right? Part of going for a walk with my children when they were in strollers was really just, what is that? What's that? And talking about the world and all of these things that we're missing when we just hand our child a phone while they sit in the stroller, right? We're really missing that opportunity for them to learn, for us to teach them, and for us to connect with them and to have a conversation because they're disconnected from us and connected to the phone, right? So really to just find ways to use it sparingly. Like don't, fill in technology just because it's there. Having technology free time at home is also really great. In my house, we don't have phones on during dinner. We put them away. We don't eat meals with TV or phones. And that is always a technology-free time in my home. And there's a lot of other technology-free times that we implement as well, but that's kind of just one that I think is a lot more defined. I know people that do psychology, technology-free days. Which I also think is awesome. I have younger children, so it's not that big of an issue yet. They don't have cell phones or any of those things. So we haven't gotten to the point where we have to implement that yet because it's just naturally implemented. But if you have older children, maybe that's a place you go and really, connect as a family, play games, go outside, have fun as a family. And really, you'll notice as you implement some of these that you really do connect more with one another. The fourth thing that I find really important is to find technology-free options when possible. So this is particularly important when you're looking about entertainment and education. So I know that online there are amazing apps for education, and they're promoting all these computer-based learning. And I know in schools they do it too. But our children will learn these things, right? And especially if we're using technology in school, at home's a good time to kind of disconnect if we can. So, if you want to implement more structured learning, right, less going outside and just exploring the world and seeing what happens, which there's a place for that. But I also understand that some parents want to do a little bit more structured education and learning at home, and that's fine. But there's workbooks, like old school workbooks that they still sell that you can use. There's educational games you can buy, or you can make up your own with things that you have around the house. Really easy, just some marbles or even some building blocks to create a math game out of that. And so really looking to find technology-free options if possible. And finally, really to just be aware of our use of technology in general and using it with intention. So if your child has a designated screen time, right, whatever that may be, 10 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day, whatever you have set up, make sure they're using that time intentionally, right? So maybe they use that time to watch the movie or the show they've really, really wanted to see. Or maybe they use that time to go online and research something they were really interested about. Or maybe they want to take classes somewhere and they're old enough to kind of do the research online. Maybe they're looking at that, right? But just very intention-based instead of just this like bored scrolling through information because it's there. Because I think that's where we kind of get caught up with technology too, and where it becomes almost like a lazy thing we can do to just waste time. And so if we keep it at least intentional, then when we use it, there's a reason behind it. I know that some of these things may feel like they're going to make your life harder. And if your child is used to technology, initially they might, because it's kind of breaking that habit. But the payoff is worth it. Our studies have shown that technology alters a child's brain development, and that, gray matter is forming differently than it's supposed to when young children specifically are engaging in technology. The reward centers function differently and are triggered by technology. And because technology offers so many multiple things happening at one time, or it switches quickly, it hinders our ability to pay attention, focus on things longer. So there really are scientific reasons why we need to limit this. And so I understand when parents say, it's hard. I mean, I've put my kids in front of a show too, just trying to get dinner done because they were, having a hard time and just, I needed to make dinner done, and everyone's stressed. And look, everyone's done that. And don't beat yourself up for it. Like, we're parents, parenting is hard. And sometimes you do what you got to do. But we don't have to do that all the time, right? And we can really limit it. And, it does make things more challenging initially, and it makes things challenging sometimes in general. I see a lot of tablets at restaurants. We don't do that with my children, but I will tell you that there are times where meals are less enjoyable because sometimes I think if they just had a tablet, it'd be quiet. But I have to work harder, right? We're engaging in games and playing and doing activities and coloring and talking and educating. And what I realize when I leave these dinners, as tired as I may be of having to, sit through a longer dinner with two young children, trying to keep them seated, is that we did some great family time. And they asked a lot of questions, and they learned about something, and they had to entertain themselves for a little bit. And all of these things, they had to regulate themselves, right? All of these things that are skills that as they get older will be less work in the long run. So sometimes we put in the work on the front end so that it just gets easier, as they get older. So try these out. You may also find that a little bit of break of technology gives you some relief. Studies are also showing how technology impacts us as adults, and maybe it's less so as brain development, but there's definitely some information out there about increasing in anxiety and depression and all these things for adults too. So try some of these things out, see how they work for you, and see if you notice any changes for yourself as well. Hope you all have a fantastic day. Till next time. Bye.